Good afternoon, everyone. The gang's back. Alina, Alex, Mike. It's okay, Alex. You can keep laughing. I'm glad you asked.
Caught me off guard again.
We're still on our topic. Why is contraception so bad? But to have a little bit of New Year's fun, we're going to go back to our rapid fire trivia for Alex and Alina. We're so glad everyone's here with us today. Today we're going to start with Alex. So Alex, what is the ball that drops in Times Square?
Yeah.
What is it made of?
What is it made out of?
Yeah, what is it made out of?
It's it's probably glass.
It's glass?
Yeah.
It's actually Waterford Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah, Waterford Crystal.
Wow.
they
Wow, I
reuse
should have
it?
known.
I
I should have
know,
known.
right? Okay, so Alina, what is the diameter of the ball that drops in Times Square?
Bigger than my arm
Bigger
span.
How big is that, Alina?
Well, it's supposed to be your height, so I'm 5'2", so I'm going to go with at least like 8 foot wide.
There you go. Close. It's 6 foot and it weighs over 1,000 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that amazing?
Do they reuse the same ball every year?
Yeah, it's the same
Oh,
ball.
okay.
It's
That
just
doesn't
up
make me feel so bad.
So-
They're not that wasteful.
there. Okay, Alex, staying with the ball in Times Square. What year did the ball begin dropping? Was it
Ooh.
1907, 1935, or 1950?
I'll go in the 35.
No, 1907.
No way.
Yeah,
It's been that long?
It's been that long.
They couldn't
It's a-
even put it on TV then. How did
No, they
people see
couldn't.
it?
No.
Yeah, they only celebrated New Year's in New York.
Oh, that makes
For the
sense.
people who were there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise, you
Everybody
can't.
was in bed.
Mm.
You don't have. That's right.
All right. So, okay.
No Rotel and ham for you.
Okay. So, Alina, what do the words "Old Lang Syne" mean? Could it mean old, long ago, long ago, or in olden days?
I'm going to go with in olden days.
Yes, and actually, it's all of them. It's kind of a trick question. It depends.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer. Way to go. Okay, Alex. Old Lang Syne is
Wait, it's all of them?
It's all of them.
Oh,
It depends on how it's translated.
Oh my
But
gosh.
this kind of helps us here. It's Old Lang Syne is language from what country?
Oh, Old Lang Syne. It comes from the old country.
The old which old country? Could it be Wales, Scotland, or Ireland?
Boy, what
Oh.
choices, boy.
I got you. I gave
Because
you
like
some
choices make stuff. It
Mm.
makes it so much easier. It's obviously Wales.
Correct, but no, it's actually Scotland.
What?
It's Scotland.
Then it's not correct.
Old Lang Syne.
I know. Old Lang Syne.
No,
There
whatever
you
you're
go.
looking up is wrong.
That definitely sounds
definitely from
like
Wales.
something Braveheart would have said.
He was Scottish.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, they sang that. in that
They
movie.
did.
And
Yeah, it was
old
at the end of the
Lang
credits.
Syne. I thought they were singing to a guy named Lang, but whatever.
Oh man, there we go. Okay, so I got one more then here, Aline. Let me get the last question. What is the first country to celebrate New Year's Eve each year?
Like New Year's Eve on our calendar,
Yeah, so New Year's Eve today, or that we will
January
celebrate.
31st.
Correct.
Not like
You know,
Chinese New Year.
correct. So what is
Because
the
that's a
first
different
country to celebrate New Year's Eve every year?
Yeah.
Hint.
Wait. No hint. Okay.
Okay. No hint.
You gotta think.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Think where the prime meridian is at.
Why does the Prime Meridian have anything to do with it?
Here's your hint. It's actually where the international Dateline is.
Isn't that the prime meridian?
The International Dateline?
Yeah, I guess that is the prime meridian. You're correct.
Is it the same? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think it should
No,
be, though.
there's the Prime Meridian and then there's the equator. The Prime Meridian goes up and down
Right.
and the equator goes across. So
Right.
the Prime Meridian comes down.
Yeah.
Like trying to look at a globe here.
I don't know. There's one on my desk. We can grab one.
No. I'm gonna say like somewhere in the ocean.
Somewhere in the.
But I think the
Is there an
question-
island that it runs across? No, I think it's
yeah, pick
it's
an
got to be
island.
like Europe somewhere.
Nope. Actually, you were correct. You were on the right path. New Zealand, which is actually an island in the ocean.
Hey!
New Zealand is actually just west of
They
the
have lots of
international
snow.
Dateline, and they are actually the first country to celebrate New Year's every year, followed by Australia. There you go.
Australia? Why Australia?
They're right next door. I mean, they like right next to each other. It's just because of where the
Oh, I'm thinking of like Greenland and Iceland. Never mind.
yeah, opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
there,
Okay.
folks.
Never
Okay,
mind.
so,
Never mind.
there we
That's where
go.
it's at, huh?
A little New Year's trivia
So
for
we're
everyone.
Do they
almost at
still
the
do it real
end.
big?
Everybody's
Like,
pretty well
yeah.
done by the time we celebrate it then.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
well,
because it's got to like come
comes all the way around.
Well, yeah. I mean, you
They're
go
like,
to.
that's yesterday's news.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's like, so what if you had to go to your Sunday obligation of mass?
Yes.
You're in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
And it's still
It's Sunday.
no. You're across the border of the line, and
Yes.
it's still Saturday.
Mm-hmm. You cross the line, it's Monday.
No, wait a minute.
Depending on when you leave.
If you go to mass in New Zealand and it's Sunday, and you fly over to Honolulu,
Yeah.
and it's Saturday,
You could land on Sunday. Again, yes.
you could land on Saturday.
So
do you
have
need to go to mass? Do you
twice?
need to go to mass again?
Well, actually, so what happens
I'm pretty
is,
sure this is
well,
one of those
if
intense
you think
things.
about it, so what happens is when you cross the date line, you actually lose a whole day. So if it's Sunday in New Zealand, it's Saturday in Hawaii. So when you take off in New Zealand, you actually land on Sunday. You will land on Sunday.
So if
It
you
really
actually ever
messes
wanted to
with you.
redo a certain day
Mhm.
of your
Yeah.
life, you just fly around the.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you go cross it, if you fly to China, if you take off on the 1st, you land on the 3rd. You lose a whole day because you'll cross the date line, and then you'll pick up a day when you come back. It's not even hours; you pick up days. It's amazing. Yeah, the only reason I know all that is my dad used to do international work, international human resources. He was traveling, 70% of the time he was in another country, Singapore and China and everywhere else, and he was always in a different clock, around the world. But yeah, it was pretty neat. And but yeah, when he always said he hated he loved going to Singapore, he loved going to China, loved going out to all those places, but he would lose a day going and he'd gain one coming back, and he didn't know what to do with it. So it was a bad
that's
joke.
tough. man.
Dad joke.
Yeah,
Dad
dad
joke.
joke alert.
Oh,
so
it was a joke. Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
You need to brush up on your dad jokes.
I have some.
You got
Oh yeah.
some time to prepare.
I got puns.
But
So everyone, thanks again for joining us. Again, we're still addressing our first great teen topic, which is why is contraception so bad? Why is it something the church is against? And certainly addressed it in part 1, and this is part 2. So I'm going to turn it back over here to Alex again to kind of kick us off and begin the right path of our discussion.
Cool. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Hey, everybody. So we left off with talking about why chastity is so good,
Yes.
and why our sexuality is so good, which is why contraception just frustrates us so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so we gave you the theology behind it.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the church teaches and why chastity. But in I guess a synopsis for that is that chastity teaches us to respect ourselves and other people.
Yep.
And that's what we deserve, and that's what we yearn for.
Mm-hmm.
So today we can talk about how can you do that in relationships. And for myself, since I'm currently dating, so if anybody
There we
saw
go.
that post on on our VMY Facebook with me in the vest,
That's right.
and it says something about single ladies. Technically, I guess it depends on how you define singleness.
by Facebook.
When you're at a wedding,
By Facebook.
when you're at a wedding, if I went to a wedding tomorrow, and they said, okay, all the single guys,
you would have to go.
You would
out.
have
I
to
would go
go.
out there,
Yes.
Of course.
even though I'm dating.
Yes, you're
Yes.
dating.
Yeah, not according to Facebook, but
That's right.
which
You're
I was
in.
unaware of.
You got to change your status.
I know. Oh, it's not FBO. So
Facebook official.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Doesn't count.
so technically it's true, but technically I am dating. So don't get any ideas, ladies. I'm so sorry.
There we go. There we go. Don't get any ideas, ladies.
I'm just gonna shut up here.
And no, what was it you needed to say, Alina?
The address here at work is 751 Center. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Alex's cell phone is.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what is that they call you? The vocation director?
No.
So,
I've gotten
mean-
for years. I've gotten the hashtag Forever Alone jokes.
Oh gosh. Oh,
They're funny
gosh.
because my dating life is comical.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I've learned a lot, and I'd go on some great dates now.
That's
At
awesome.
least I think so.
Practice
and
makes
that's
perfect.
what my
Mhm.
girlfriend says that she enjoys them too.
There you go.
So we're going to talk about practicality. How can we be practical
Mm-hmm.
in practicing chastity? And because it's tough.
in a marriage and not in a marriage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true too.
Absolutely.
Chastity's all the time for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
You know.
Yeah. So Alina, you want to kick it? Well, let's see.
Yeah.
You want me to kick it off with
Well,
Let's start single, and then let's go.
yeah, let's
like,
progress.
You know.
Oh yeah, the progression. Since I'm older than you. and
Yeah.
singular.
Singular. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's go. Okay, we'll start with dating then.
Yeah.
So dating. Here's some tips for dating for anybody out there that's listening that's dating. Is I have to just start with the beginning of what we did in our relationship was whenever. Okay, so one, this is the thing that people always say all the time, and it's so true. First of all, I wasn't looking. Okay, there, put that out there because it's so frustrating. You hate to hear that when you're a single person. And
when you,
yes,
when
I
you
wasn't
stop
looking.
looking, you will meet the right person.
Yes, and so here's the thing about it, though, that I wish somebody would have told me. They told me not to look, so they told me what not to do. But you want to do something, so it's like you have this hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what they would have told me is what I was supposed to be doing.
No.
So I had something to focus
Which
on.
is?
Which is you're supposed to be working on yourself
Oh,
and your
yeah.
relationship with relationship with God and other people. But singleness is marriage prep, and so the habits you develop while you're single, etc., are going to be what you take
Make
into
your bed.
your relationships.
Put your dirty laundry into the hamper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
Well,
making my bed is not that important. But
It
you know,
is. Successful people make their beds in the morning.
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
well.
preparation is becoming the best version of ourselves and learning and growing in our faith, so that we can ultimately become the best spouse we can be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be happy with somebody else until you're happy with yourself.
Absolutely.
And you
That's right.
can't, expect to be successful with someone
Mm-hmm.
else until you're successful in yourself.
Right.
You can't have a good wholesome prayer life with someone else unless you have a good wholesome prayer life with yourself or
True.
with God. I mean, there's always God.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true.
But that's but that is exactly
Right.
what I
A
mean.
marriage
is
takes
that,
3 people, not just 2.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing that even in dating and one thing that Alex, and his girlfriend do an amazing job. In terms of is that your faith is part of your relationship as a dating couple.
Oh yeah, our first
amazing to see.
First date was at the seminary.
That is what.
I told her I wanted to have my options open,
Oh,
keep my options right in front of me.
There you go, right
Let's
in front
see,
of you.
This went to adoration at the seminary because it was a young adult event, and
That's cool.
that was available that night, and I had never been before,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd been once, and it was just, we both love adoration, we both love hanging out with the young adult group, which is where we met.
Yep.
And
so where did you find this young adult group? How do you?
well, first
do that?
well, I prayed. I prayed that God would lead me to friends, and so this young adult group came about. I forgot who. Oh, a friend of mine was involved with it, and he invited me to go.
Oh.
And so
There
it's
you go.
awesome because they're Catholics who are my age, who are doing things that are just fun, and they're socializing together
That's
and
so cool.
enjoying this stage of life together. But they're good Catholics, so we do a lot of things together, like adoration and mass. And we play. We're in a sports league too,
Yeah.
and that's where I met the girl that I'm dating.
Don't you do like ultimate frisbee and
Yeah.
disc golf and
Right now, it's soccer.
soccer, like indoor
Soccer.
soccer?
Indoor soccer. Like whenever I first ran into her, like my go-to attitude was, I'm not looking, and God, you need to, make it very, very clear if it's somebody that you want me to pursue, because previously I had always forced the issue, trying to pursue somebody and make something work, without clear purpose.
I think that's an excellent point. Is you were trying to force something that wasn't your will.
Right. Or that was my will, but not God's
Not
will.
God's will.
Right,
That's
right.
a better way of putting
Right.
it. Yes.
So I said, God. So it finally got to the point where it's like, God, you make it happen. I'm going to focus on being good friends with people.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And that was what I was doing. And it was so freeing.
Mm-hmm.
So freeing because I didn't have any pressure to. Because I always often thought to myself, what if she's here? What if I miss her? What if I don't run into her? What if I don't do the right thing and I don't see her? That is so stressful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, it is.
this girl comes and shows up on retreats. That she came on a retreat that I was doing, so she showed up right there in my face, and then she kept saying stuff, in conversation with myself or other people that was like, okay, wow, okay, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of developed a friendship, and from
Right.
there.
I mean, like me and my husband, now, like how we met, we were through mutual friends, and we were friends. I was freshly divorced and everything, and was not looking
Mm-hmm.
to get married ever again, in my mindset, and we were good friends for quite a while before, and he likes to tell the story about like how the first time he met me, like I didn't even notice him, like he was over there like making passes and like like scoring all the touchdowns, and like I don't know, they apparently had a pickup football game going on in the background, and I did not notice at all, and like he was trying to
wow.
impress me.
You didn't
and-
notice his athletic skills?
No, I did not. I also did not.
No,
Yeah.
that's awful.
Oh, that is terrible.
That's bad.
Yeah,
Poor
I
guy.
didn't. I don't know what I was doing, but yeah. And then, well, actually, in the first time he asked me out, like I was real confused because he's like, "Hey, you want to catch a movie sometime?" And he's gonna kill me if he hears me telling the story. He doesn't listen anyway. It's okay. Listen, I just won't make him listen to this episode. But I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Who's all going?" And he's like, like me and you. And I'm like, "Oh."
Oh.
Like on a date, like, or or I was like, nobody else can go, and he's like, well, no, like just me and you, like on a date. No, I don't think he ever said the word date. Oh, and I did, and then
Look at that. Now you're married and you have
no,
children.
Yes.
See, God's good.
Yeah, he is.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. And yeah, mine.
That was also kind of like the same story for our engagement. He just like pushed a ring across the table and was like, yeah, you wanna.
There you go.
No, man, a few words.
Got the job
Man, a few
done.
words. He got the job done. There you go. He did. He
Like,
did.
You want to go on a date? You want to get married?
There you go.
I don't even think he said married. He never said the word date. He never said want to marry. Just you wanna, like as he points at things.
Well, yeah, I mean it's kind of funny how all these stories happen. For Trudy and I we met through mutual friends, and we just started out as friends. Neither of
Right.
us were looking for a relationship.
That's how it happens.
We were not wanting to date, and what I began to see, and one of the things that you notice is that, or I feel that with Trudy and I, is that we literally sit there and we enjoy a lot of the same things, and we were like, oh, you like going to the theater? Okay, I like going to the theater. You like
You like butter? I like butter too.
I mean, seriously, it's kind of like that. But what we found is that we had so many things in common that we always enjoyed just each other's company, and it just kind of blossomed from there. Now July will be 15 years married.
Wow.
So 16 years together as a couple as of right now. Actually, a little bit more.
See,
so
what year were you married then?
2005.
2005.
Yeah,
2005. That was
2005.
when I graduated from 8th grade.
Dear God,
Yeah, I
look
was
at that.
in 7th grade.
In
Trudy,
7th grade.
Trudy, we
You're
are
getting-
old.
You're getting
So,
old.
yeah, that's true. So anyway, here we go, folks. Again, why is contraception bad? Again, as
'Cause it is.
Alex, absolutely
Here we go.
Done.
There you have it.
Done.
done. Church says
Wrap this up.
bad. Drop the mic.
Well,
Anyway.
let's move on to
God, good.
good
But
date-
Contraception
good
bad.
dating. Let's go with good dating habits. How about that?
That's right. Good dating habits.
Yeah, Alex, like you're the pro dater here.
I
so,
am. Okay.
I'm
we've been
married
having-
with 3 kids. I don't go on dates ever.
You should
Yeah.
once a month.
Once a
Yeah.
month. You know what? I think that's a rule. You should have a date night once a month.
Yeah, let me just squeeze that into the budget.
Okay.
So,
Well,
It
you
could
don't have
get-
to go
hey,
anywhere.
Yeah, it could be really cheap. Really, really cheap. Like,
no, do you know how much a sitter is?
oh.
Like, so anything.
Alex and I will babysit.
Wait.
Yeah, Alex is like,
He's like,
hey, yeah, get you some good practice.
there you go.
No,
I
I
still
just
got
want to
one
give
in
you
diapers.
advice, but
I
not
just-
help you.
That's the real.
Wow. Look at that. I just volunteered Alex for something, so there you go. Alex and I will babysit.
Sure.
Your kids you're gonna come home, your kids are gonna be hopped up on freaking sugar, not sleeping. Someone might
You
have a
couldn't-
black eye because
We're
of the
gonna
Roomba.
I'm gonna get them to do some anyway.
Anyway.
So good dating habits. I think there are several. Set yourself up for success is one. To do things that won't be tempting.
Avoid the near occasion of sin. Good
yeah,
idea.
right.
Mhm.
So don't end up, alone.
Netflixing and chill.
And Netflix.
Which, by the way, is
On-
I was unaware of the actual connotation for that. So by Netflix and chill, I mean watch Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Like watch Netflix and hang out.
Yeah.
Correct.
But apparently, don't
Well-
Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
But to your point, don't put yourself in a
Right.
situation in which
Yeah.
you may feel
Yeah.
tempted to do something.
right. Yeah. When you
Stay
get
with a
when
group.
you get tired,
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
you're
Oh.
when you're exhausted, you just give in to stuff easier, and you have
Mhm.
those cuddly emotions kick in.
Mm-hmm.
And so try not to stay out too late to where you become exhausted, or try to
Nothing
get a
good
good night's
happens after
sleep the night
midnight.
before. Go out with other people
Okay.
as much as possible, and just
do things you both enjoy.
Yeah.
You know. You know, I think that's one of the things that I've always stressed to friends, to family, is do things as a couple that you both enjoy, that allow you to enjoy the time that you have together. Because and sometimes you all go through that in dating and marriage, where one person's doing one thing and the other person's doing the other, and you feel like you're always missing. But again, if you have that, even if it's literally the date could be breakfast after church on once a month on Sunday. It can be simple. You know, have waffles. Maybe it's just a cup of coffee around the corner, and you're sitting there and just talking. And I think that's one of the things, is that we feel like we have to do something. Like we have to go somewhere to have a fancy dinner. We have to, you know, we've got to woo each other. And when in all actuality, 9 times out of 10, if you just go over to a coffee shop with your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend and you just sit down and talk, that's more connection and more meaningful in the long run than anything else.
Like pretty much like where we're at in our marriage right now is like pillow talk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, you know, things are how they are, and like once we get the kids to bed, it's just like, you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, like, you know, because, you know, we just separate, but then, you know, it's like, can we please go to bed at the same time though?
Yeah.
You know, can we, you know, bedtime of like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever it is, you know, and, you know, I prefer like 10 o'clock. That way I can be asleep by 11, or even earlier, you know, but
sleep. Who needs sleep? I'm kidding.
Most people, Mike, most people need sleep.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
We go to bed at the same time or whatever, and then it can
awesome.
at least like talk about, you know, kind of like wrap up the day, you know, and, you know, I would like to get in the habit of saying our prayers together, you know, saying a rosary before bed, you know, every night. That's something that I, you know, have heard from like wise old couples, you know, they prayed together every night, you know.
That's
family
awesome.
that prays together stays together, but that's also applies to your marriage too, you know, because I mean, we pray together as a family, you know, we say our night prayers together and everything. And
really? That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
like we put the kids to bed and everything, and, you know, say prayers
cool.
with Eli and say prayers with the girls, you know, and you know, that's, you know, we do that, but then like praying together as a couple is a weak point for us, you know, because we're done. Like, we're done, and you know, it takes work, you know, and I would like to, you know, maybe that'll be our New Year's resolution if I, you know.
It's coming up, you know, not far away.
Right. I mean, I think that would be an awesome New Year's resolution. Heck with trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
Do something that I might succeed at.
What night prayer do you do with the kids?
All of them.
Okay.
So we say, like, because we're trying to teach our kids how to pray, you know, so, you know, now I lay me down to sleep, you know, and then we do, you know, the guardian angel, Hail Mary, Our Father, Glory be, and the prayer to Saint Gertrude, and then the kids have to each say like 10 things that they want to pray for or are thankful for.
Oh, wow.
And then we wrap up with like the litany of the saints. So
wow, that's
okay,
awesome. That's awesome.
Like, well, all of our kids.
You sing the litany?
No, we say it.
You say it.
If we were to sing, we never get the kids to quiet down. But the well, and then each of the kids fall asleep like to the Rosary or the Divine Mercy song.
Wow.
Oh, you put it on?
Yeah. Although Eli's like, he doesn't want it right now. He's 2. He's just he's in a mood. But he will get up and turn it off. Like, I think because it like skips because it's like wearing out.
Well, that's really amazing.
Well, all of our kids are named after saints, and we're all named after saints and everything. So, you know, and our confirmation saints. So we like to incorporate that into, you know, and obviously the Holy Family, like into our family. So, you know, it's Saint Ava, pray for us. Saint Clare, pray for us. You know, Saint Elijah, pray for us.
Wow.
You know, Saint Joan of Arc, Saint Francis.
Wow.
So.
Who's Joan?
Joan of Arc is my patron.
Well, I know who Joan of Arc is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's my
Which one
patron,
in your
and then
family?
Francis is Brad's.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's I mean that's pretty awesome. I mean, to take that much time too. But you know what? That's instilling in your
bedtime's like a half hour.
Yeah, but no, but it instills in your kids how important it is. I mean, that's a lot of last Friday, you and your girlfriend went to the Valley St. Jen basketball game, if I'm not mistaken, and
That
I
sounds like a
believe
great date
afterwards. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive, but then afterwards, did you guys end up going to Adoration?
We went before.
Oh, you went before. Okay,
Went to Adoration before. Yeah.
which is really cool. I mean,
Aw.
again, what does that cost you? Nothing. Here in St. Jen, there's a 24-hour perpetual adoration chapel. that doesn't cost you any time,
Mm-hmm.
or it doesn't cost you literally anything to go spend time with God together as a
So
couple.
when you go to like adoration as a couple, do you sit by each other or do you like separate and do your own thing? Because do you pray together? What's that look like?
In
as a
adoration,
couple?
we sit close,
Mm-hmm.
but we've been doing stuff silently. We haven't been praying out loud together. So we do
Okay.
stuff silently and spend our own time talking to God,
Mm-hmm.
and then see, just kind of like, I think a lot of dating is your lives overlapping. It's not like you're changing your life so much as you find somebody who's aiming the same way you are, and they're doing a lot of the same things you are, and you end up just doing them together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great to have somebody to do them with. So we would both go to adoration
Mm-hmm.
normally, and so when we both need it, we
Yeah.
go there, but now we're there with somebody else, so it's somebody to push us. But I think that's a great thing about a good relationship is
Well, to me, that's
they're
really
incor-
intimate.
they're
Like that's a
incorporated
way of
into
being
your life.
intimate, having an intimate relationship with the Creator plus each other. Because you're taking that quiet time and that alone time, but yet you're
Mhm.
doing it in a
It is,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's special to go to adoration together, even though we never say anything
right.
to
Yeah.
each other. But yeah, I think we just we like to do the same things.
Yeah, that's
and
what
so
I'm
we
saying.
just
It's-
start doing it
I
together.
like
Okay.
riding in the car.
There you go. Take a lap around the city. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but it
Oh,
doesn't have
oh.
to be. It doesn't have to be fancy. It does. It's just that time together.
We turn
And-
the radio off and just
Uh-huh.
we pray the rosary like as a family. Like I like car trips. You
Yeah.
know,
That's
like,
awesome.
And then we get to talk. It's like there's no talking at dinner. Like it's just like shovel your food in and like get gone.
Oh,
like,
wow, really?
we eat dinner together a lot as a family, but like with 3 young kids, it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
Just,
there's
like-
there's a task to accomplish there.
Yeah.
It's not maybe where you want it to be right now, but it can,
Right.
it will be. In
well, like
time.
growing up, like you were not allowed up from the dinner table.
Mhm.
Like unless you were excused, like you had to sit there and eat dinner with your family, and then when you were
Mhm.
done
Right.
eating, you had to hold a conversation with everybody else.
Yeah.
And we tried that.
Mhm.
No,
Well, were you
Mhm.
doing that though when you were 3?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Probably
I
not.
don't remember.
Probably not. But
Yeah.
but no,
as a
I-
10-year-old, I
Your
remember that.
2-year-old
Like as a
Yeah.
10-year-old,
She's
Well.
probably not going to say, "Pardon me, mother. May I be excused?"
he usually says, "I done."
I
And runs off.
That's awesome. No, I mean, one of the things that being the elder statesman of the group, when I was growing up, when I dated, when I was younger, especially in high school.
Did you have to call upon a girl?
But yeah, there we go. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, jeez.
You had to use the
I
phone with the
dated.
crank on it.
Yeah, that's right. I did.
You had to
Yeah.
crank the phone
I had
line.
to
as
crank
a
the
party
phone.
line.
And, yeah,
Mhm.
there was a quarter. Actually, telephone booth was a quarter. Anyway, but no, I did date several people. But the reasons I was dating was actually more selfish than was the original intent and things that we've talked about. And I think that's something to be mindful of. For me, dating was meeting someone to make me feel good about myself. And
Yeah.
that's selfish. And you got to be mindful of that, as you're considering and pondering relationships.
Yes. I mean,
Where it all changed is finally when I met my wife, I went, oh, I would do anything for her and don't care about myself. She became more important and I became less.
right.
And it's, I think one of the things that if I could share anything is that, to the teens out there, again, dating is not easy. I mean, you're trying to understand, is this person potentially, a future
I mean, that's
spouse?
the purpose
That's
of
the
dating.
purpose
is
of
to
dating.
find a future spouse.
And you can't do that if you're being selfish.
No, and I kind of
And I think that's an
understand
important thing to understand.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
you know.
because I feel like when I was dating, like in high school and stuff, like I was dating to validate my own self-worth, for my
There
self-esteem
you go.
issues, because I needed somebody to tell me I look pretty. I needed somebody, to take me to prom. I needed somebody to,
Yeah, right.
To give you those things that's where you were deriving your value from.
Yeah, well, yeah, and to have a
Right.
friend and to try and make it like through high school, and then that shouldn't have like been the focus.
What advice would you give to teens about yearning that you had to feel that worth? What would you say?
I know it sounds like really not tacky, but impossible, but like we are all created with a hole like in our hearts that can only be filled by God, and it's a honing device. God put that there for us, from the original sin to bring us closer to him. And we try and we try and we try in our society to fill that void with everything but God. We try and fill it with drugs. We try to fill it with alcohol. We try and fill it with sports, sex. I mean,
whatever it is,
yep. All of these worldly possessions, or
fancy
people.
cars,
Sometimes people. Sometimes that looks like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or even friends. And it's like you have to get your relationship with God on first. So if you were doing all of those things, and I was doing a lot of that as a teen through VMY, I feel like I have my priorities in order, and my dating life was a lot better than it could have been. Like some of the relationships I saw my friends and stuff in, because I had like a good wholesome dating life to an extent, like in high school. But still, I mean, it wasn't with the right purpose. I was doing it for my own reasons, which I didn't know that at the time, but
of course not.
I just don't really condone dating until you're ready. And looking back, like I just don't really think that you should be dating until you are ready for marriage, and and especially in regards to today's society, until you're ready for kids. I mean, like,
no, I think it's true. And
until you're ready for marriage, until you're ready,
it's
for
a commitment.
Sex, until you're ready for kids, like don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
Actually,
there's better things to do. I mean, like people always talk about like, oh, I went to prom with my friends. It was so much more fun. And it's like, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have went to prom with a group of friends. And I wish I would have, spent Friday nights with my friends, having sleepovers and doing nails.
Friday nights were the best when I was in high school. It was.
Yeah, you had football. We didn't have football.
Well, no. I mean, okay, yeah, after I played a game, we would hang out with my friends. I mean, but like basketball season was great. I mean, we'd go down, we'd hang out the game, and then my group of friends, we would go to Donato's Pizza, and we would like buy 4 or 5 pizzas for like 7 guys.
Yeah.
And we'd sit there all night and we'd eat pizza and talk.
Yeah.
And we weren't worried about dating. We weren't worried about it. We were just hanging out. Yeah. And these guys to this day are some of my best friends. They were in my wedding. We were
You grew
in
up in a
theirs.
big town though. Like I feel like that's the difference like between like you and me and Alex. Like when we were we had a really small town. I mean, St. John is even bigger than my small town of Oak Ridge. I mean, there was nothing to do.
And that's true.
You got done with a basketball game, the closest McDonald's was 30 miles away.
Wow.
I mean, you could not go and grab a bite to eat even at like a fast food joint. So all that there was to do was go to somebody's house.
Oh, see, and we just drove around the city. That's
we had two blocks. You could go, we're done. Like, you had uptown and downtown. It was 2 blocks.
2 blocks and one blinking light. I'm sorry.
No, there was no light. There was a stop sign.
Yeah, what are you talking
St.
about?
Jen has 2 lights. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, we do have 2 lights.
You have 2 lights. No, but I guess, I think it does have an impact. I mean, but being from a bigger city, I mean, we still drove 30 minutes to get where we wanted to go eat, but that's what we did. But again, for us, it was, we were hanging out with them. We hung out with our friends. But that's the other thing about being from a bigger city is that your friends, and at least the high school I went to, because we were an all guys Catholic high school, my friends were from all ends of the spectrum on the city. And so I literally would have a 45-minute drive to my buddy Brian's house from Westerville to Hilliard, from one end of the city to the other, just to get there.
That's kind of cool.
And just hang. It was cool because you go around.
I don't know, like the VMY kids. Like the only time we ever got together was like if something like VMY Mass, like on Sunday nights, in Perryville, and then
Yeah, it probably happened.
Now, one of the things I want to get to before we wrap up today's show is some myths as it relates to contraception. Things that people may hear, and we've got our resident mythbuster, Alina, here to give you a couple things that are I think are misconceptions or not true understandings as it relates to some things about birth control. So you found some interesting pieces of information that we definitely want to share.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so we're talking about like why contraception or why not contraception.
Why not, yeah.
And that you can't do that without talking about what we've been talking about, chastity, modesty, relationships, abstinence, marriage, dating. It all goes so hand in hand, and we're all, the dignity of each other. Like that, we're all in this together, okay? Be kind,
We're all in this
Please stop.
together.
Stop. I'm gonna get a stick and poke you from across the table.
Sorry. High School Musical.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I'll poke him.
Yeah, thank you. You're closer.
I-
I'll poke you to poke him. No, okay. So the problem with, contraception, specifically speaking about the pill and barrier methods, is that it violates the dignity, which purposely cuts us off from our own reproductive powers that God has given us. So we're taking that dignity that we've been assigned to each other and are throwing it out the window. We're saying like, no, I don't want this. Like you're trying to separate sex and pleasure from
love,
from conception, from relationships. You're trying to create one night stands, and it's like that's not what it's about. It's about making love, making commitments, making relationships, and we want that as Catholics in a good wholesome marriage, so you wait until marriage. That's why marriage is, but you can't do that when you are using some kind of contraceptive method, and so like there's a ton of different methods out there. We have condoms, we have the pill, we have IUDs, we have many things. There's just so many different ways that you can do that, and why not do those? Well, because they're bad. They're bad for you, they're bad for your mental health, they're bad for your physical health, they're bad because you are taking away the physical touch, you're taking away the intimacy, you're taking away the relationship, the wholesome giving of each other that should only be happening between a spouse.
You're taking away God's purpose and role in the relationship.
Yes, you're taking God out of the equation, and you know what? Hey, it's not going to be as good as you're taking God out of the relationship. I promise. It's not. I mean, and so like. Let's talk specifically about the pill. So how the birth control pill works, and there's many different forms out there, but how in general it works and why the church has such a problem with it is because not only it takes God out of the equation and we are preventing new life from happening, but what it is doing and how it is doing it. So the walls of a woman's uterus or cervix need to thicken in order for the not fermented. Oh, jeez. We got some rotten eggs there.
The fertilized.
Oh, my goodness.
We're in health class.
Fertilized egg can implant.
Okay.
And so the pill thins the lining of those uterine walls. That's why you have fewer and less frequent and irregular periods, because the lining of your uterine wall, which is what happens during the first phase of like a woman's cycle during menstruation, is that's your uterine walls shredding and being expelled. So the pill keeps those walls from ever getting thick, so that doesn't have to happen. That's why you don't have a period, or if you do have a period, they're light periods. Then the fertilized eggs, it doesn't prevent fertilization. So the egg still becomes fertilized. It just can't attach to the wall.
So it prevents...
attachment, implantation. And then that usually results in a spontaneous abortion.
Yeah, it's an abortion.
It is. And so like not that all pills work that way. Some pills do suppress,
fertilization.
Not so much fertilization, just like it prevents ovulation. It prevents the egg from dropping.
Because that's good too.
No,
that's real natural.
Yeah,
never mind. I'm sorry, being facetious.
I know, but in this society, we're all about
health and natural, right?
But yet nobody wants to stop with all the pharmaceuticals, and nobody wants to stop with all of these. Like, oh, okay, I want to eat nothing but kale and organic, and I want to wear organic cotton and everything, but I still want to use contraception. And it's like, no matter which form you're using, it's not natural. Unless you are using natural family planning. It's not natural. And natural family planning is a method that's been around since the 19th century. And it's not the rhythm method. Don't even ask. That's different. Natural family planning is 99% accurate. And it was popularized in the 50s when they started the NFP classes, and Vatican II came around, and they were like, hey, you're getting married in the Catholic Church, you've got to go take an NFP class so that you're at least aware of how to do this in a family, because they don't want you just to have a billion children. I mean, you want to, that's great. If that's what God's calling you to, that's fine. But here's a way that if you financially aren't able to, for health reasons, if you can't do this, and it's all natural. I mean, so what you do is a woman's cycle is like roughly 28 days long. So, and that starts on day 1 of menstruation. And so like you count out, like you chart, you have a calendar, and like there's tons of apps out there for this, like
You know what else is 28 days, Mike?
What?
The cycle of the moon.
It is. It is.
Do you know what that means?
No, I have no idea.
I'm sure there's some pagans out there who would get on board with that.
It means
Mother Nature and all that.
I figured out why. Yeah, okay. I finally figured out why women are so strange. It's because they're from the moon.
They're
Yeah,
message anyway.
But NFP, all natural versus not natural, versus hormonal birth controls. Anytime you're altering your chemical makeup, anytime you're altering your hormones, bad. Like that is so bad for you. I mean, some of the leading like side effects of birth control are headaches, weight gain, acne, mood swings, anxiety, depression. These are all of these things. And then you take another pill to combat those symptoms, which gives you more symptoms. And it's like, just don't do it.
Right.
Just don't do it. Do it the natural way. And then like, okay, so we go into long-term side effects.
So ultimately, it seems like we're saying that the woman's body is not good in the way that it naturally operates.
Right.
The way that God made it is not good.
God
so we're
created women. I mean, Adam and Eve. Eve, Mary. I mean, Bathsheba even. We're using like NFP, like a version of it. They were tracking their stuff, and then that way they knew.
But I think
when to. I mean, they didn't know as much as we know now. Thank God of modern medicine and everything. But they knew like this was how God designed a woman's body.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed since the beginning of time. Like a woman's body has not changed. That's why when it comes to childbirth and everything, it's like we want to overcomplicate it. It's like women have been having babies since Eve.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Our bodies were made to do
but
this.
I think this is what is so important, and I think Alex hit a good thing here, and you're hitting on it too, is that God, in God's infinite wisdom, knew the dignity and how a woman was to be.
He gave us everything we needed.
Right? But we are choosing to say God was wrong.
Exactly. And he wasn't. I mean, no.
And I, no matter what we want to say, God has never made a mistake.
No.
Last time I checked.
God would never ask you
unless
to do
you count
anything.
mosquitoes.
There is no purpose for mosquitoes.
Well,
there's no purpose.
There is a purpose.
Or gnats.
We just
Everything has a
purpose. That's right. Okay, sorry, folks. There's a dolphin collection in my office, so if anyone ever stops by, everyone has a porpoise.
We'll take a picture of it and put it on Facebook.
Yeah, put it on Facebook. Anyway.
So back to long-term side effects. Long-term side effects, you're looking at like cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer. These are all
things you got to be aware of.
Yes, and most studies that you will find will be inconclusive and everything. But I challenge you to, where's your money going? Who's supporting that? The FDA is not a non-for-profit. Planned Parenthood is not a non-for-profit. Like they're for-profit companies, and anything that's a for-profit company, their money, their research is being backed by somebody.
Correct.
So look into this. Be careful where you get your research. Because what happens, like when you, let's say you achieve pregnancy and then you have an abortion, your body is preparing its way for this child. So your milk glands expand and everything in your breast. You're getting ready to nurse this child, and everything is happening behind the scenes. You might not even be aware of it. And then you take this pill, or you go and have a procedure done, and you eliminate that life. Now what is your body doing? It shuts down.
It's a trauma.
It's traumatized. It doesn't know what to do. And the more and more times you have this, the more your chances for not only cervical cancer but breast cancer increase. So the pill does that on its own, but then you throw abortion into the mix, and then that's it
becomes even more.
It becomes even more. And then on top of that, we've got fertility issues. I talked about a little bit in the last episode. Like the rule of thumb is that you were on the pill for 5 years. It's going to take your body 5 years
to get rid of it.
To get rid of it.
Yeah,
to get your
because
statistic. What happens is muscle memory. I mean, that's why you have one kid, the next kid's easier, and the third kid you didn't even make it to the hospital. Yeah. I mean, muscle memory. Your bodies were designed for this. It knows what it's doing. You take a pill, a chemically hormonal altering pill long enough, when you get off of it, your body only knows how to function that way. It's like it doesn't even need the pill anymore, because it's like that's
it's just like a bodybuilder with testosterone.
Yes,
the body will actually shut off the pituitary gland, and you'll be on an injectable the rest of your life. That's why
your body.
Yeah, but I mean,
your body adjusts for.
Yeah,
changes.
I mean, it adjusts for changes. So if you take steroids,
so if I'm taking vitamins,
you're fine. But they're not backed by the FDA. I do want to thank our team who brought this forward for us to talk about, because it's an issue and a question that our teens have. Why is it bad? I get what, and the question was, or how it was originally phrased to me is, I understand abortion, but I don't understand contraception. Mm-hmm. And maybe this helps you understand a little bit, and that's our goal. And certainly we want all of you to reach out to us to continue to give us questions as I stumble over my words because I don't know how to talk to this afternoon.
Well, and if you have follow-up questions, for sure,
definitely email us. We'd love to get it and, get that information and share. And as always, keep praying, and we'll see you next time on I'm Glad You Asked.